everyone, and welcome to the Snack Bar, where you get your weekly bites of everything movies. My name is Geraldine, and with me I have...
Hey everyone, I'm Jed Yong.
Yep, so I just came back from Japan. That was really, really fun. I still miss it a lot, but because of that, I'm really relaxed right now, and I'm very happy. So I'm going to be pretty positive about most of the movies that I watched this week.
Yay!
And I watched a lot of movies this week. And
Cool.
3 on the plane, 3 outside of the plane. Yes,
Outside of
finally.
the plane? How did you watch
Yeah.
movies in the clouds?
Oh, perhaps it is on ground. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the 3 movies that I watched on the plane in just one. I'll just review them in one word.
Alright,
word.
cool.
Whoops! I went to Japan and I forgot how to speak English. Okay, so the 3 films that I saw on the plane were Green Room, which just came out this year, starring the late Anton Yelchin. Did I say that right?
Anton Yelchin, yep, pretty close.
Yep. Okay. Summer Wars and The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. So 1 indie film that came out this year and 2 Japanese films by Mamoru Hosoda. I'm not sure. Yeah, he did other films like The Wolf Children and Boy and the Beast or something.
Right.
So I think in that order, great for Green Room. Amazing. Summer Wars was okay. And The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, it was great, but very sad. And of the films that I watched this week on the ground, thank God, I'm so afraid of flying, by the way. But, and I flew by myself this for the first time.
Oh, congratulations.
So,
that's cool.
yeah, I was my own. I didn't freak out, so that was cool. The films that I watched this week are Digimon Try, Confession. That one is not really considered a movie here because it's not released in theaters, but it is out in Japan this week, and I'm really excited to talk about that. Storks, and of course we're going to talk about Magnificent 7 later on.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you the plot of Digimon Try Confessions because it's very complicated because Digimon is actually an anime series, but this one it's about the first 2 seasons, and because every season they change the cast and it's like a different world. So that's I gave up on Digimon in the 2nd season because I hated the cast for the 2nd season. But they are actually the same kids from the 1st season. It's just that they're grown up, but they're not the main characters. So in Digimon Try, they brought back the main characters in the 1st season. So I was really, really excited because I love that Digimon. Yeah, this one, it's really good. Like, I don't think you watched that, right, Jet?
No, I'm totally outside of the loop. Anything anime, anything manga.
Okay. Well, I'm sort of there too. I'm sorry if I'm speaking really loudly. I'm just really excited.
No, excited is good. Excited is good.
Like, yeah, the first 2 films, I really liked the first one because it's just so nice to see the characters that I love instead of the ones that I hate. Because in the 2nd season of Digimon, they sort of ruined a lot of characters for me. Like, the new cast was so bad, and there were a lot of plot points that I just hated, and it's canon to the 1st season. So it sort of ruined a lot of what the 1st season set up. And I'm really glad that this film, they seem to have as much animosity towards the 2nd season as I do, because they just keep ignoring what happened to the kids. And in the first movie, we see that they got defeated in battle, and no one is asking what happened to them. So I'm really happy for that. Even though a lot of people who are fans of the first 2 seasons, they are very angry over it, but I'm perfectly fine. So what I love about this film is that it features 2 of my favorite Digimon partners. So I'm gonna get a little bit too Japanese. I'm so sorry, but
it's okay.
So there are 2 partners. One pairing, it's called the 2 of them, they're called Takeru and Patamon, and then the other one is Koshiro and Tentamon, and these 2 are so freaking cute together. Okay, as a kid, Patamon and Takeru were my favorite, and I'm so happy because I was so worried that they wouldn't know what to do with this pairing because they messed them up in the 2nd season. So it's so nice to see Takeru get a freaking arc again without being stupid and whatever. Okay, sorry, ranting. But it scared me in the first 2 movies when it seemed to be more about the humans instead of the relationship between the humans and the Digimon. That's why I love it. That's why I'm so into like the boy and his ex stories. It's
Right.
because of this and Pokemon that made me yeah, it was because of them that I loved How to Train Your Dragon. I
So
loved Big
that kind
Hero
of
6.
shaped your tastes in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Takeru and Patamon, they have like the most purest relationship I have ever seen in my life, and they get the emotional arc. And the first two, like I said, the first two films they were very much about the humans, but in this, because something is happening to Patamon, who is Takeru's Digimon. Anything with Mon, that's the Digimon, by the way.
I gathered as much.
So something is happening to Patamon, and Takeru kind of has to deal with it. And he hasn't cried. Like, he was the crybaby in the first season because he was about 8, but in the second season he was 11. So he just stopped crying there. But in this one, he just kept crying, and it broke my heart every single time because, you know, you would think that he would get over his crybaby phase. But I love that the film, it doesn't look down on boys who cry, which is really, really great. And I really appreciate that kind of message that they're trying to get across. And also Koshiro and Tentamon, I never really cared for them as kids, but rewatching them, rewatching the first season and the second season, I never watched the second season. I just watched it like last year, I think. But rewatching the first season, it really made me appreciate a character like Koshiro, who is like the nerd of the group. He's like the tech guy. And he's really the real MVP because all of Digimon is just about tech. And to see,
I love tech guys.
You'll love him. He's freaking great. And he's also, you know, he has that it never happened in the first 2 seasons of Digimon, but in this one he has the crush on the pretty girl, which is really, really cute to see how he interacts with her. But yeah, I really love what they did with their relationship as well. And they were like the true MVPs of this film because the climax was what I love about this movie of Digimon is they set up the emotional stakes, and in the climax it's not just all actions because there are actual emotional stakes to it. And I don't want to spoil what happens, but the whole time I was watching the climax, there was so many thoughts running through my head. And then I watched the climax again recently, like this morning, and I was still like
the film is already out like on Blu-ray?
Online, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in online it's considered episodes because they didn't release the entire movie.
Oh, I see.
But,
Okay. Yeah, so they packaged it together for
so you kind of you don't really notice the pacing because in your mind they are just episodes.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how the pacing really is like, but I really enjoyed this film. And this is just a PSA to anyone who loves Digimon. Try to get through the first 2 films. This film is so emotionally satisfying. I've been waiting for it for months. And the next film is going to come out in February. There are like 6 films. This is the 3rd one. And what makes me really sad is that now my 2 favorite characters and my 2 favorite Digimon partners, they won't be featured again because this is a 6-movie thing and they're not the main characters. So it sucks. But I'm really glad that they got the good movie. Yeah. And that's my review for Digimon Try. I love this one. And I'm really glad you let me fangirl about it because I've been like trying to keep it in for 1 month.
Oh, it's your show, man. Yeah, go right ahead. Oh, wait, before you go on to Storks, like, I very briefly wanted to ask you a question about Green Room because that looks really interesting, but I was worried that I'd be too scared that it would freak me out. Is it really
it is
scary?
Okay. It is very scary. Don't watch it on the plane. You'll be like, oh, great, I am isolated and I'm scared. Especially if you're, what's that word called? Claustrophobic. Yeah,
right.
Especially if you're claustrophobic, don't watch it. Watch it when the lights are all on, unless you want the mood. You know,
And
then just watch it with, you know, closed doors and lock yourself in. You'll feel perfectly fine.
It's quite interesting that Patrick Stewart is in it too because he's also a Star Trek guy. So is there a lot of Patrick Stewart or is he a really minor role?
I think he's pretty major, but he's very scary.
Oh, cool. Scary Patrick Stewart is the best Patrick Stewart. Alright, very nice. So Jean-Luc Picard is terrorizing Chekhov. Okay, cool. Let's move on to Storks.
Okay, so Storks is a new animated movie from Warner Brothers Animation, who did Lego Movie. I'm not sure what else they did, but this is a plot from IMDb because I'm not like you, Jet. I can't make up words like you do. So Storks have moved on from delivering babies to packages, but when an order for a baby appears, Junior, the best delivery stock, and often Tulip, a baby who never found her parents due to spoilerish reasons, must find a way to deliver it before his boss, Hunter, finds out. So this film, it stars Jake Peralta. It stars, what's his name again? I only remember him as Jake Peralta, the one from Lonely Island.
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg, yes. And Hunter is voiced by Kelsey Grammer. And I think often Tulip, she's voiced by a voice actress, like an actual voice actress. So
yeah,
that's
I
really
was
cool.
surprised by that. I was thinking they would go for an Anna Kendrick type.
Yeah, she's a very Anna Kendrick character. So this film is really, really adorable. I think it's only like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think it's really cute. It's worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not sure whether it's worth watching in cinemas, but if you ever have the time to rent it or to watch it on the plane, I think it's a perfectly fine film. It's a great film for both kids and adults because there's a lot of jokes. It's very much like the Lego movie where it's just joke after joke after joke. But it doesn't have the same heart as Lego Movie has. But can I just say that the kid is the cutest thing ever? The young boy.
The baby?
No, not the baby. The young boy who wrote, I think his name is Nate. The young boy who wrote to the Storks that he wanted a little brother with ninja skills. It's so cute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's so adorable. He's my favorite thing in the film. Like his side plot with his parents is just, I think that is the heart of the movie because his parents are very busy with work and they don't have time for him. And because of this Stork situation, he's trying to prepare, for a new baby, and he's trying to prepare for the Storks to see his house. And his parents, they sort of start bonding with him again. I think that's like a really, really sweet side story. But about the main characters, I think they're fine. Like the chemistry is okay between Tulip and Junior, I mean. But I don't think they have as much chemistry as someone like Nick and Judy from Zootopia. But I think it's good enough. Yeah. I think this is a fine film. It's very cute. I really liked it. I never felt bored. I mean, okay, for a 93 minutes film, there were some parts that dragged, like right before the climax. It felt very long. But that's like 2/3 of the films. But as in, something happens just right before the climax that I thought was too long. And there's this character who's, I think, a pigeon. He is so annoying. Like, he was funny at first, but then they had too much of him. He just annoyed the crap out of me. And there were some parts that were very DreamWorks where they just had this random pop music all of a sudden, and it didn't work out at all. But I think there are a lot of interesting gags. They had one with the wolves, they had one with the penguins. The penguins one was spoiled in the trailer, but yeah, I really think that this film is great. And this year, the animated films have been amazing, and I think this is not amazing, but it is a very good film that came out this year. Too bad it's not going to win the Oscars, but yeah, it's a good film.
Are people going to ship the human woman and the Stork?
No. I mean, they sort of implied because they have a baby. They're like, I want to be a family with you or something like that. That didn't happen. I'm just paraphrasing.
Okay.
But something along that line would happen. I'm like, wait, are they trying to make us ship them? I don't know.
I think someone
didn't understand
out there will do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the internet. But I never shipped Nick and Judy, and I found out that they were apparently a ship. So yeah, I'm not very good at, unless the film like immediately tells me that they're supposed to be a ship, I probably wouldn't have guessed it.
Right, okay.
Digimon, you know what my ship is. You keep ship teasing them. You better make them together. Everyone who knows me knows what ship, like I ship super hardcore in Digimon. Okay, sorry. Go on,
Is it
Jet.
the tech guy and the...
No, it's not the tech guy. It's Takeru and someone else.
Okay.
But anyway, Jet, what did you watch this week that you want to talk about?
Alright, so week before last, which we didn't have a recording, so I'll talk about it now. I watched Imperium starring Daniel Radcliffe.
Imperium? I've never heard that.
Imperium. It's really intense. I really enjoyed it, but not enjoyed as in was very entertained by, because it is kind of a creepy movie. Daniel Radcliffe, he plays this young FBI agent who is sent in undercover to infiltrate a neo-Nazi white supremacist group who are planning a terrorist attack.
Hang on, oh my god, that is the evil guys in Green Room too.
Yeah, skinheads, right? So he has to like shave his head, get these tattoos, and he pretends to be one of them so that he can gather information to prevent a terrorist attack. It's really intense. It's a lot of it will really make your skin crawl because they spend so much time with these neo-Nazis and getting to know the ideology and exploring it. And I really enjoyed Daniel Radcliffe's character because he is sort of this earnest, straight-laced rookie, but at the same time, his main skill is that he's really good at research, really good at studying, and he's able to think his way out of these really scary situations, even though he's not physically a match for a lot of the neo-Nazis that he has to associate with. Yeah, it's very different from what you've seen Daniel Radcliffe do so far, and I honestly was not distracted by the American accent at all. I think he did a really good job of the American accent.
Hang on, I'm trying to look for this film. I've never heard of it before.
Imperium.
Okay. All I see is Harry Potter. Okay, yep, I found it.
Yeah,
Oh, that looks interesting. He's bald. It's so cute. Sorry. He'll always be Harry Potter to me. He's like always a young boy. So it's so cute to see him like take this kind of role.
It is very jarring to see him like do the Nazi salute and go sick hail or like use all of the very, very offensive slurs that he uses in the film. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you're always rooting for him. You're always in, like, I think the movie does a really good job of putting you in the character's shoes, of really intimidating the audience. And the audience has to sort of ask themselves, what would I do if I were in this bind, if I was stuck in this situation?
I'm just so happy that Daniel Radcliffe is in all these like highly acclaimed films.
He's making some really interesting choices. I think that he's smart because there are some indie things that he's doing, some really, really weird stuff, like that movie in which he plays a dead guy. Swiss Army Man.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, oh my god, him and Paul Dano. And then he's doing commercial stuff like Now You See Me Too as well. And I think it's a matter of time before we find him in a superhero thing.
Oh, I hope not. I love him in these indie films because he's so... I think he's very talented. And it's nice to see him branch out and not be... I mean, not that I think actors in blockbuster films are not diverse, but they all feel sort of the same, and I want him because he grew up as Harry Potter, who is like, you know, a very hero-like character. So I want to see him do different things, and I'm really interested in this Imperium film now that you talk about it.
Yeah, I think he could, like, it's a strange actor to draw a comparison to, but I think he could find himself being something like a Mark Ruffalo. Like I think they have a little bit of a similar appeal.
Mm-hmm. And Chris Evans.
Yeah, like somewhere in between that, because he does have a bit of the pretty boy thing going, but he's not. I wouldn't say a sex symbol. I think that he has the credibility, and he has worked really hard on stage. He's done Broadway shows, and he's worked really hard honing his craft. So I think you can really see that in this. I honestly would say it's an Oscar-worthy performance. I was very blown away by his turn in Imperium. Yeah, it was really good. Like, I've heard a lot of complaints about the writing because there are moments where it's really on the nose, it's really obvious. I think it's kind of awkward to deal with a subject matter that is as heavy and as depressing and as scary as like neo-Nazism and white supremacy. But I felt that I did learn quite a bit from the movie. I don't think it's a balanced view, of course, but the handling of it, I was hooked. I mean, I was quite compelled. I felt this makes sense. This probably is going on right underneath people's noses in the US. And I mean, especially with the political situation now and how much you see the hate and anger of people rising to the surface, I don't think it's very far-fetched.
Mm-hmm. So it's very timely, this movie.
Yeah. And the other thing that I would... The other thing I would quickly want to recommend, which is really different, but I liked it about as much, is Southside with You. So that's the date movie, telling the story of Barack and Michelle Obama's first date in 1989.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Is it
a documentary? Oh, or is it like based on a true story thing?
It's a romantic drama.
Okay.
So the screenwriter and director Richard Tan, this is his like feature film debut. And I'm sure he's going to get so many offers after this because this did really well critically and commercially. And the idea is that he took sort of the basic beats that both Barack and Michelle Obama have revealed about their first date in interviews. So the different events that they attend, Like, for example, they go and see an art exhibition, they attend like a grassroots community meeting, and they go and watch this movie by Spike Lee called Do the Right Thing. So he strings those together, and in between they have conversations where they like get to know each other. And it begins with Michelle Robinson at the time. She's like really, really adamant that she's not gonna date this guy. Like, it's not a date, it's not a date, it's not a thing. And slowly she kind of warms to him, and you see the seeds of their relationship being planted. It's really romantic. Some bits are very sweet, but it's not cheesy. I was kind of surprised that it's not cheesy, and it's not like hitting you over the head with the politics.
I'm very much looking forward to a good romantic film. I'm feeling very romantic now. Sorry.
Yeah, I when I heard about this, I was like, okay, this is a good idea, but there's so many 100,000 things that could go wrong, and most of them didn't happen. Like, I think that the actor who plays Barack Obama, Parker Sawyers, is amazing. I feel that he's really A-list material, and I think he's better than Tika Sumpter, who is the actress who plays Michelle Obama. She's a little bit more stiff than he is. He's very natural, and he isn't doing like a 100% cartoony impersonation of Barack Obama. So I felt that he made a really good lead in this.
But does he do that Barack Obama speech tone? What's that word called?
Like his
the
cadence,
way he speaks?
Yeah, a little bit. So the story is that when he was doing the audition, he did 100% over the top impersonation of Barack Obama, and then the director told him to tone it down. So I feel that when people are playing famous figures, it can be very distracting because you see the actors, you see their mental process of them trying to match the way these people walk and these people talk. So it can pull you out of it a little bit. But I think he did a very good job. Like, if you look up clips of him or in the trailer, it does feel enough like Barack Obama. He's very charming, and they get like a bit of his personal history in, his own issues with his father. And interestingly enough, I think Michelle Obama is the main character. Like, it's told from her point of view. We meet her before we meet Barack Obama in the story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, now why do you watch all the good films too?
I just don't talk about the bad movies that I've watched. Good Kids. The hell was that?
Good Kids. What's that about?
Yeah, no, it's a teenage sex comedy about this bunch of kids who have been really overachieving in school, so they've been missing out on social life. So they decide, the week before they go to college, to just catch up on all the stuff they've been missing out on, like all the sex and drugs and rock and roll. That kind of.
You know what this feels like? It feels like people who actually did sex and drugs, and they're like, oh man, because they couldn't get into college, they're like, we need to make something to feel good about ourselves.
It's like kind of like leftover American Pie, pretty much. But I love Zoe Deutch, the main girl in it. I think she's adorable.
Okay.
She was in Beautiful Creatures, and yeah, she's the daughter of
Yeah.
Thompson.
I love her too. Like I said, Beautiful Creatures, I think the two main characters are really awesome. The one who's going to be Han Solo.
Oh, Alden Ehrenreich, yeah.
Yeah, he's really good in Beautiful Creatures. I loved him in it. Like, I genuinely like Beautiful Creatures, even though I think it's really dumb because the characters are good. As in, the actors who play the characters are good. I don't know whether the characters themselves are good, but they do a very good job at disguising how bad the story actually is. The story is so bad.
So, like, it's better than Mortal Instruments.
Much better. Mortal Instruments was crap. Okay, so let's talk about. They say that Westerns are dead, but Magnificent Seven, that's a reboot, it's here to prove them wrong. So here's the review of our film. I did a really good segue.
Yay.
Jed, what's the story about?
So, The Magnificent Seven is a remake of the 1960 John Sturges film of the same name, which is in turn a remake of the 1954 Akira Kurosawa classic samurai movie. So in this one, it's set shortly after the Civil War, and the town of Rose Creek is being threatened by this land robber baron, Bartholomew Bogue, who's played by Peter Sarsgaard. So he's trying to intimidate the townspeople into giving up their land. Emma Cullen, played by Haley Bennett, her husband, Matthew Cullen, played by Matt Bomer, is one of the people who was killed by Peter Sarsgaard's character. So that's in the trailer, that's right up front. So she desperately engages the services of this bounty hunter called Sam Chisholm, played by Denzel Washington, and hires him to go after Bogue. So he assembles a team of men to take on Bartholomew Bogue and his mercenaries. So they consist of Joshua Faraday, played by Chris Pratt, who is this gambler and card shark. And then they've got sharpshooter Goodnight Robichaud, played by Ethan Hawke. And he is very close with a knife-throwing assassin named Billy Rocks, who's played by Lee Byung-hun. And then there's a tracker, this wild man named Jack Horn, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. You have the Mexican outlaw Vasquez, played by Manuel Garcia Rulfo. And you have a young Comanche warrior called Red Harvest, played by Martin Sensmeyer. So Sam Chisholm and his team, they have to get the residents of Rose Creek into fighting shape so they can defend their home from Bartholomew Bogue and his men.
Okay, so this is a very long film, but
yeah, it's a bit longer than it needed to be.
I really liked it.
Yay!
Like,
I was okay with it.
Maybe it's because I'm really happy this week. And I'm like, woo,
you're on a good
movies.
mood.
Yeah, so I came in, especially because like I watched Try yesterday and I just watched Magnificent Seven today.
so you sound very high.
Yeah, no, so I just needed something to be happy about.
That's
because
good.
Try was so fucking sad. Sorry, I sweat.
No, that's okay. You've sweat before on the show.
Did I say the F-bomb before? I don't know.
Yeah, you have. You were talking about Spectre and you were really angry at the love story.
Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, I remember that. Okay, so, Magnificent Seven, I really had a great time. I didn't really feel the 2-hour mark until the climax, but I think that's more of a personal problem because I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of shootouts because I think that I'm more of a SWAT guy, you know? I like seeing people get cut. That's my thing. So, besides
you're
that,
a sword guy?
I'm a SWAT girl. Well,
okay.
It doesn't matter. Are you assuming my gender, Jet?
Yeah,
okay,
no.
I can't make that kind of joke.
No, I'm triggered, Jerry.
Yeah, I didn't love this film, but I thought it felt very like a summer movie. I think I had more fun in this film than most of the summer movies, except Star Trek Into Darkness.
Star Trek Beyond.
Star Trek Beyond. Damn it. Yeah, I really liked it. Can you tell that I'm still really happy?
I like that you're happy. I'm happy you're happy.
Yeah, this film is great, and I love seeing Chris Pratt in things.
Oh, I think he's the best part of this. Like every single time he's on screen, like this guy is enjoying the hell out of it. He's having so much fun.
I like the Korean guy the most.
Oh, Lee Byung-hun?
And I love that.
Yeah, really.
He's a Chinese in this, right? Or is
yeah,
he Japanese in this?
I think he's playing a Chinese railroad worker.
Ah, okay. I really liked him too.
Yeah, the bromance that he had with Ethan Hawke was very heartbreaking. I think they developed that quite well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I went and watched the original Magnificent Seven to do research, and honestly, like, please don't crucify me, but it was so boring. I think the pacing of movies then is so different to what we're used to now, that movies used to be 3 hours long, 3.5 hours long, and you'd have an intermission in between. And it just, like, there's cool stuff in it. It's got a super cool cast. Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, these are very iconic actors. But, I was bored to tears with it. So, when I saw the trailers for this and I heard that it was Antoine Fuqua who was directing it, I was like, okay, this is going to be really fast-paced and it's going to be really modern. It's actually not super fast-paced, but I kind of like that. I didn't have the feeling that this was a modern Hollywood action blockbuster dressed up as a Western. It did feel like a Western, and I really like that. At the end of the day, I don't think it was a completely unnecessary remake. I don't think it desecrated the original in any way. It's not a classic, but it's fine. I don't think anyone will be violently opposed to it existing.
Well, people are gonna crucify me too because I didn't watch the original Magnificent
No, that's fine.
Seven.
That's okay. Yeah, I didn't watch Seven Samurai.
Yeah, and the thing is, the thing about remakes is that they're supposed to sort of reintroduce the classic films, and without Magnificent Seven, I don't think I heard of Seven Samurai, but I've never felt the need to go and watch Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, neither did I really.
Because of this film, I feel like watching the original, but maybe I'll watch it in the episodic way, so I wouldn't feel that bored. What do you think about the cast?
I really like this cast. I mean, when you hear Magnificent Seven, immediately a lot of people were attracted to the idea of the remake, and if I'm not wrong, There was at one point Tom Cruise, Matt Damon, Kevin Costner were all attached. And there's this like revolving door of people who came in because this was in development hell for a short while, like not super long development hell, but they were kicking around the idea of a reboot for a while. I like this cast. I really like the idea of Denzel Washington leading the team, especially because this is Antoine Fuqua, so this is a director that he's familiar enough with. You know, he did Training Day, which won Denzel an Oscar, and he did The Equalizer as well. So I like him as the leader. I do like the cast. I feel that Ethan Hawke, it was such an emotional sort of character. He really had a lot going on. It was a fair bit deeper than I expected them to go, like with their PTSD thing. I liked that. I liked that they teamed him up with Lee Byung-hun. Vincent D'Onofrio was wonderful. I sort of described him as human Chewbacca. It's like if Chewbacca were a human being. And it's so funny to see him reunite with Chris Pratt after Jurassic World.
Yeah.
And they're also both in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kingpin and Star-Lord. Yeah, he's Kingpin in the Daredevil Netflix show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Kingpin.
He is, yeah. And it's such a different character from Kingpin. It's like, he's so endearing in Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's Kingpin is scariest. Crap.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio is a very talented actor. And I think he was having fun here. I think you can really tell that the cast is having fun. Like, you can tell they're kind of suffering because it's really hot and it looks kind of humid. Despite, like, it was shot in... I think it was shot in like Baton Rouge in Louisiana, and there was storms a lot, so it kind of feels it seems like it would have been very unpleasant. So interesting thing about the Mexican character Vasquez. Originally, they wanted to cast Wagner Moura, who is the lead actor in Narcos. He plays Pablo Escobar, but his schedule didn't allow him to do this because he couldn't lose the weight from Narcos in time. So they replaced him with Manuel Garcia Rolfo, and then I think Martin Sensmeyer is pretty much an unknown. The guy who plays he's the cute one. If this were a boy band, he'd be the cute one. Like at one point, apparently Anton Fuqua said that there was a conversation about making the Comanche warrior a woman, but they sort of dropped that idea. I feel like that might have worked. I don't know.
Yeah, she could have been. I mean, he could have been a woman.
Right? Yeah, I think that
made no difference anyway. So it'd be nice to have like one woman character in the Magnificent Seven. Yeah,
within the Seven themselves. But I don't know whether or not, even if they had just one woman character, they would get the kind of backlash that Ghostbusters got, you know? Because Magnificent Seven is such a macho movie, the old one.
Well, I mean, obviously they're trying to be politically correct if they do have a woman inside, but there's like 6 men to latch onto, so I don't think it'll be as bad as Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Also, speaking about politically correct, I really like that this is such a diverse cast. Like, it didn't feel to me like it was diverse for the sake of it. Like, they were running around saying, look how diverse we are. Everyone felt very natural in it. And I was like, oh, isn't that cool? You know, it's a black guy leading the team. There's a Korean guy. You know, there's a Native American. There's a Mexican guy. And everyone's getting along. And they sort of tease them. There's a bit of, like, racial humor. They tease each other. But it felt like it worked.
Yeah, it does. For this film, I felt like the characters weren't very interesting, but as a group, I really like their dynamic. Because the film feels more plot heavy than it... Because, how do I say this? In Guardians, it felt like the characters were more forefront, and you care about the characters. That's why you don't care how dumb the plot really is, or how simplistic the plot is. But I feel like Magnificent Seven is the opposite problem, which is there's a lot of plot but very little character. But what makes up for it is, like you said, the relationship between everyone in the group. So, you know, Chris Pratt and the Mexican guy, they have something going on. And
yeah, there's like a rivalry.
Yeah, and it's adorable because it sort of pays off in the end. And then we have the Korean guy and Ethan Hawke. I feel really bad because, like, I only remember the white guys' names. But,
no, I mean, it's because they're in more movies that we have seen.
Yeah. Yes. And Denzel Washington, he's great in this. I like his relationship between... Yeah, I love his relationship between him and Ethan Hawke and him and Chris Pratt. It's really good. Like, between the characters, the relationships is what made me care about the characters in the Magnificent Seven group. But what I can't stand her. The wife,
Emma Haley
she's the
Bennett.
worst.
No,
Yes.
I was okay with her. All right, well, before we move on to her, so I do want to agree with you that there's so much plot in this, and I think that the structure of this movie is more than half of it is collecting the dudes. So just going
Mm-hmm.
around collecting them. So it does get a little repetitive, and it's like around the halfway mark, I was like, when are we going to get to the fight? And then the big climactic battle is the rest of the movie. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like there's an act 2. It's like there's an act 1 and then there's an act 2 that's also act 3. So that's like structurally I guess that threw me off a little bit, but it's not a huge problem.
Okay, so you want to talk about Emma now?
Yeah, so she's played by Haley Bennett, and I was kind of okay with the character. I think they what they wanted is as sort of a compromise for not having a woman in the seven, they wanted a woman to be the catalyst for the plot, because the big difference that this has from the 1960 version is that in the 1960 version, it's a group of Mexican villagers who hire Yul and the Magnificent Seven. And it's a completely different villain, because in that one, the villain was a Mexican bandit played by
Mm-hmm.
Eli Wallach. So in this one, he's kind of like a Wall Street this is slimy like financial dude. So I think that that's why they had the character of Emma, and I think she was okay because she wasn't either extreme of damsel in distress tied up in the train tracks, but she also wasn't shooting people in the face and spitting at them. She wasn't Annie Oakley, so I was okay with it. I felt that she seemed like someone who could exist.
But she has the same face throughout the entire film. Do you notice that? She keeps frowning and it's so annoying. Like, I understand that she doesn't have to be happy because her husband just died and her whole village could be gone. But
yeah.
when you're surrounded by this charismatic cast, it's so distracting. Every time they shoot back at her, she's like super annoyed at everything going on around her. And I understand because everyone is being really sexist towards her because all they can talk about is having sex with her or finding her super attractive, which really annoyed me too. But she is just, I cannot stand her.
Well,
I'm really glad that they gave her something to do in the climax and she didn't play the damsel in distress role. Okay, she played it once, but that wasn't really damsel in distress. That was more like she needed help.
yeah.
But
So hang on. So your issue is with the actress more than with the character.
I think it's more of both of. I think it's both the writing of giving her nothing to do for a while, and the actress not being able to be charismatic enough to carry that kind of role that when she does nothing.
All right. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it's not even to the point of I don't mind her. It's just I'm so annoyed every time I look at her face.
Okay.
Because she
yeah.
has the same. I guess it's the resting bitch face, which is
Yeah,
really mean
yeah,
of
yeah.
me to say that.
No,
But
no, it's fine. Like I can see where you're coming from now that I think of it. Yeah, Haley Bennett does a kind of, but she's pretty.
yeah, she's
I
pretty.
think she's pretty. Yeah.
That wig looks really fake though. Is
Yeah,
it a fake wig?
it probably is. I feel like almost everyone has a fake wig. Like, but I think those are real mutton chops that Denzel Washington grew. his like mustache thing. It's hilarious.
It's really sad if that wig is actually a wig. Her hair looks so fake though. Like it was really shiny. Did you notice that?
No, I did not.
But yeah, I really didn't like her, but you know who I liked? I liked the villain and by saying that I liked the villain, I mean I hated the crap out of him. He's such
Peter
a
Sarsgaard.
coward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I hate him because he's such a slimy scum. And I love how he fights them with something sort of cheating.
Yeah, he absolutely cheats. He absolutely doesn't fight fair. Yeah.
Yeah, like the ultimate weapon that he uses is just you're watching it and you're so mad because it's so unfair. And I
Yeah,
think that's what they
totally.
wanted.
Yeah, because like I feel that it's very much a modern political commentary that this character is supposed to represent bankers. This character is supposed to represent the people who caused the financial collapse and all of the Wall Street wolves. I think that's who this character is supposed to be.
Yeah. Did you like him?
I felt that it was a little bit exaggerated. I mean, I understand the need for it. Like Peter Sarsgaard, when he plays the villain, it's always super, super slimy, which works, I guess. But I felt that I kind of wanted a villain who could. I know that this wasn't what they're going for, but I kind of wanted a villain who could also physically handle himself in a fight. I know they wanted a coward, but I feel that he would have been. It would have been fun if he were intimidating in the sense that there was both brain and brawn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that was because like in the original one, for sure you could tell Eli Wallach could hold his own in a fight against Yul Brynner and gang because he's a bandit. He's a gunslinger himself.
mm-hmm.
So that was
Well,
kind of my issue with it. Yeah.
oh, okay. So, but I mean, for me, I was okay with it because he's such a loser, and you don't like that the loser is winning.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess that's why I really like him as a character, and you just want him to die. Well, not die, but
Die.
you
Yeah.
just want him gone.
Yeah, and you see him do so many despicable things. You see him like kill people in cold blood, and you see how mercenary he is. And I really like that opening establishing moment where he's giving the speech in the church.
Yeah, and it's
he has that-
terrifying.
He,
Like what
I've
they
got a
did with the
jar of
kid.
dirt. I've got a jar of dirt.
Like I was so scared when the kid went up. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
This isn't really spoiler territory.
No,
but
it's
a
the
kid
beginning
went
of
up,
the movie.
and
yeah.
it was so scary. I was like, oh no! I kept looking away from the screen in case something happened. Yeah, so he's great. Like I really like this villain. He's really fun.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Matt Boma. I feel like he's dying a lot in movies.
Yeah.
Like in The Nice Guys, he died as well, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah, he was that assassin in The Nice Guys.
Oh yeah. Okay, so how did you feel about the gunslinging climax? Was that everything you wanted in a western?
Okay, so I'll go up front and say that westerns aren't my favorite genre. I feel that westerns have a bit of a propensity to be boring because you want to have that contemplative, introspective thing where the guy is standing on the cliff, looking out against the vast expanse. And it can sometimes get a little bit pretentious. So I feel that, I mean, that's a generalization, of course, and there's Peckinpah stuff that's really exciting. But I don't know, it kind of felt like there wasn't a lot of action leading up to that, and then they just let everything go in the climax. So I don't know, because I think some of the choreography is really cool. A lot of the knife stuff was awesome, and I appreciated that there wasn't too much shaky cam in this. I was paying special attention to see whether or not it shake the camera. I don't think there was a lot of that.
Well, for me, I thought like the climax went on a little bit too long.
Yeah, it's about
I
half
prefer
the
the
movie.
first-
Half the movie.
Yeah, I like the first fight in the town.
Oh, when they first enter the town.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I like that,
I
yeah.
enjoyed that.
Oh,
But
when they were
the
like
climax-
dispatching those guys with the sniper on the roof and everything. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then the Korean guy just going in and like slashing everyone. That was really awesome.
Oh yeah.
But
they did really nice.
I didn't like the climax all that much. I thought they had some fun ideas with the explosives, and there were some deaths that made me really sad. But overall, I thought could have been a lot simpler, But
Yeah,
I think this
like-
is what people go to westerns for. It's for all these like shootouts, and I'm not the biggest fan of westerns too because, like I said, I prefer sword fights, and
Right.
guns are, to me, guns are like the coward's weapon. Like, yeah, you can. It's easy to kill someone with guns if you can aim, which is everything, but which is something that's really hard to do. But still, like guns, they always feel like the coward's weapon to me. And it's more interesting if there's like a fist fight or it's more of a combat thing than guns. And, with the whole American and their gun policy thing, it also really annoys me whenever they use a gun in film.
Right.
So,
No. Yeah. So like Suicide Squad, were you bothered by that? Because a lot of people sort of complained about Deadshot.
I mean, I saw Deadshot's fight with in the town. Is it town? I forgot what they were fighting against. Like the one where he stands on the car
Yeah,
roof and then
yeah.
he just I thought that was really cool.
When he's killing the zombies in Midway City.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the only one that I really liked.
Okay, yeah, so I really get what you're saying because I think that in a sword fight, swordplay, it's sort of like the idea of stage combat, it comes from Shakespearean times, and you also have it in Chinese opera where it's very much a character thing. So in a sword fight, you can see the characters interact much more than in a gun battle. And I think that that's what makes it more interesting to watch.
And also, like, in guns, it's just, you see them shooting so many times and then they always miss the main character.
Stormtrooper
or like,
effect.
And it annoys me because you can't have that many lucky shots, right? I mean, you can't be that lucky as a person. I know this is a movie, but it brings me out of it. So
I think the word I'm looking for is that I wanted the climax to be tighter. I felt that the climax was spread too much all over the place because you had to follow all of the guys, and then on top of the guys, you had the other townsfolk. And yeah, I guess it bothered me a little bit that the main villain, he himself didn't get into the thick of the... Like, I know he's a coward and he wouldn't do it, but I really wanted a Magnificent Seven movie where the main villain is in the middle of the big fight at the end and he's himself on a horse, like he's himself shooting all the guys.
Okay, so anything else you want to talk about Magnificent Seven?
Before we go into spoilers?
Yep.
Yeah, well, so would I recommend this or not? I'd say it's okay. I'd say that it's not brilliant, and I feel that you might maybe a little bit get bored, but definitely on the strength of the chemistry of the cast, this is a fun one.
I think if you're interested in this film, you should go watch it in theaters because it feels like a very theater film. But if you're not interested, then wait for it. I think it's worth a watch. Like, it's very fun. I wasn't bored at all. I just felt, the length of the film once the climax kicked in, because the climax was very long.
Yeah. And I guess that, like, if you look at this cast, no worries. If you look at this cast, you've got to be a fan of at least one of them. You've got to be a fan of at least like Denzel Washington, or Chris Pratt, or Ethan Hawke, or Lee Byung-hun. So there's something somewhere for everybody.
Yep. I'm a fan of Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, and Denzel Washington. And I really like the Korean guys, so that's awesome. Okay, so
sorry,
let's go
I cut you off just now.
It's okay. Alright, so let's go on to spoilers. I'm surprised that Chris Pratt died.
Oh, I'm surprised they killed so many of them, because I looked at this and they're like, the Sony must have franchise symbols in their eyes.
Yeah, me too. Like, this is Sony. They need a franchise, and then they kill off Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. I was the first guy that died, Jack Thorne. Like, when he died, I'm like, oh, that's sad, but it makes sense because he's the oldest guy. And then they kill off the Korean guy and Ethan Hawke, and I'm like, wait, what?
and it's really interesting because, like, the three guys who are left alive are minorities, right? Wait, Denzel Washington is left alive?
Mexican, Denzel Washington,
and the Native American guy, right?
Oh, he's Native American? I didn't even know that. I thought he was just, like, some random native.
No, the Comanche warrior, so he's Native American, or like the politically incorrect way is American Indian, which is what they were known as for a long time. Yeah. So the three who are left alive are not white, and I feel like that's some kind of statement.
Well, but the Korean guy died.
No, yeah, they killed Lee Byung-hun. Like, I walked out and I was like, oh, the minorities are alive except Lee Byung-hun. But I mean, I like that Lee Byung-hun died next to Ethan Hawke. Like, oh,
he didn't.
Was sad.
He died staring at that tin can thing.
Oh, that's true. No, they were. Yeah, I misremembered. They were up in the bell tower together, but then they died separately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it's.
But like they were together in the burial ground.
When they blew up Chris Pratt, I was like, oh, shit got real.
Yeah, I mean, like, I thought he was like gonna hold out a cut and then, he'll start shooting everyone, but no, he has a freaking explosive, and I thought like he could escape, but no, he's dead.
No, yeah, he sacrificed
I can't believe
himself.
Chris Pratt died.
Me too.
Like, you would think that in his contract he's like, nope, I cannot die in films. I must always be the hero in the film. But nope, he's dead. So that's really... I like that he died, but I'm just really surprised that they didn't think... I like that this film... It felt like they're setting up for a franchise, but then when all these characters died, especially Chris Pratt, it really feels like, oh, they're actually trying to make this a one-shot, which is something you don't see nowadays from Hollywood big blockbuster films.
Yeah, it was a subversion, and I think that you still can have a sequel. You just have to substitute 4 of them, and maybe you can add 1 or 2 women. Who knows?
No, but I feel like Chris Pratt is the one. Like, you don't kill Chris Pratt if you want a franchise, because I don't know why, but his films make money.
A part of me is probably thinks that Chris Pratt looked at his Marvel schedule and his Jurassic World schedule and is like, nah, I can't do another franchise.
Yeah.
Because like they've
I have
already
too much money.
yeah, it's just swimming in money. And speaking of which, like he's paid less than half of what Jennifer Lawrence is being paid for Passengers. I was kind of surprised to read that. I was like, hold up, are you sure? And Jennifer Lawrence is being paid $30 million or 30% of the film's budget if it breaks even, and Chris Pratt is being paid $12 million.
I think Chris Pratt is a simple guy. He's just
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
love
he's
my
mad about
family.
it. Yeah, but it's I don't know how fair it is. Like, I think this is the result of Jennifer Lawrence being very good at negotiating, and especially after the whole wage inequality thing, which blew up when she wrote in Lena Dunham's magazine. But it's like, I don't know. Like, it looks like they are on screen for exactly the same amount of time. If not, Chris Pratt is on screen for more.
Well, but I mean, Jennifer Lawrence is an Academy Award-winning actress who has two very successful franchises on her hands.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess Chris Pratt has two very successful franchises on his hands, but he is not an Academy Award-winning actor.
Yep.
Andy Dwyer has an Oscar, which would be fun.
Oh, that'd be so great. I'll be so happy for him.
Yeah.
But I found out, like, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes now. He starred in 3 films that got 90% in a row. So it was Guardians of the Galaxy,
oh gosh,
Lego Movie, and Zero Dark 30.
Right, yeah, that's... Well, if we're not counting movie 43, which he was
Nope.
in with...
I also have been Her, and that's like 4 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Man, he was so good in Moneyball. I loved him.
I've not seen Moneyball yet.
It's an alright film, but
Okay.
a little bit overrated, but I think that's because I'm not interested in sports.
Yeah, neither am I really. Yeah, and...
Okay, so anyway. Magnificent Seven?
Yeah, Magnificent Seven, I know that. Okay, I really like that they did not force a romantic subplot. They hinted at it, but they didn't force like a romantic subplot. Like she didn't do a rebound relationship with Chris Pratt after Matthew.
That would have been awful.
I know.
Like the whole point of her is like avenging her husband's death.
Right, yeah. So I like the scene that they shared where they were just sort of standing and talking together, but they did not turn it into a romantic subplot. So I enjoyed that. I mean, there are certain things in this movie which feel a little bit un-Hollywood, which is probably why I liked it more than I would have otherwise. And a big part of that is, as you mentioned, killing off Chris Pratt. Like, I would have liked for Chris Pratt to survive, but this big subversion, it feels like Antoine Fuqua is saying, I'm not doing a typical Hollywood franchise-backing movie. So the stakes are a bit higher. I'm gonna kill who you think is the secondary hero after Denzel Washington. And I like that.
I feel really bad for calling the Korean guy. Let me search up his name. As you discuss whether you liked it that Emma killed the bad guy instead of Denzel Washington's character.
Right, yeah, I'm very conflicted on that, honestly, because A, I really, really think that it should have been Denzel Washington or one of the 7 who killed him. B, I like that it gave her agency, that it sort of reminded you of the reason why the plot is being set in motion. She was the one who went to hire them, and then she finished it off. And also, one of my favorite moments in the James Bond series is the end of Thunderball, in which the villain, Largo, is killed by the Bond girl, by Domino Derval. She shoots him in the back with a spear gun when you think Bond is about to kill him. And that, I always enjoyed that moment, because and for that reason, like, Domino is one of my favorite Bond girls, because she got her own back. And that it reminded me of that, but at the same time, yeah, it did come off as a bit of an anticlimax. They went through all that trouble, and then she went and killed them. I don't know. Yeah, I'm torn about it.
Yeah, me too, because I like that she killed him, because it mirrors how the main bad guy killed her husband. But
right, yeah.
You know, you have Denzel Washington there doing his hang thing, and it just sucks that it felt very anticlimactic. By the way, his name is Lee Byung-hun. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's my favorite. He's my favorite of the bunch.
I
feel really bad for not knowing his name.
I mainly know him from G.I. Joe. He was Storm Shadow.
Oh, I don't know anything about G.I. Joe. I watched the films, but I forget them immediately. I just remembered that
he was the white ninja guy, the bad guy in the white ninja costume. Yeah, that's him.
I know there was one ninja There was another ninja,
Yeah,
but I can't tell which is the bad
the
one.
black suit ninja was good, and then the white suit ninja was bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't watch the animated series, so I'm not very familiar with the G.I. Joe series.
That's okay.
Yeah. So I just wish it wasn't so anticlimactic, but it felt like the movie just wanted to end too.
Yeah, it was
So
kind of like the movie was like, let's wind it up, guys. And yeah,
I'm so conflicted about this because it's nice to see like a woman take the final shot, and it also feels like it's her fight because it's for her village and it's for her husband. So I have no problems with that story wise, but she she's not part of the Magnificent Seven. I thought she would be at the end, but she didn't go with them because there was nothing for her left.
Right, yeah, she should have joined them and rode off, and she's like the fourth member of the team now. Yeah, and they're like, they should, that's what she should have been like, I can give you training and you've got what it takes, that kind of thing. This is what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, so I guess I feel exactly the same way about it as you do.
You know what I like? My favorite sequence is during the first time where they went into the town. Lee Bing-hoon, like he comes out of the salon or whatever, and then you see this guy who has been pierced through, and he's like stuck on the wall, and then he just takes out the knife, and like he just falls on the floor.
He crumples to the floor, yeah.
Yeah, I love that moment. It's so cool.
Yeah, all of the knife stuff in this movie is really well done and quite brutal actually for like PG-13.
I love when he's like training the guys too, and then he turns around and everyone's walking away.
It was simple. Where are you going? Where are you going? Just
I love
stab, slash, throw, and then he does it so effortlessly, and he's like, simple. And the whole montage where they're training them and they keep on missing the targets, it was really funny. There's some comedy in this movie that's quite well done. I
feel really bad for the farmers though. Like,
yeah,
they aren't trained for it.
It's not their fault.
Yeah, and they're just screaming at them, and they're really just trying their best because they want to protect their town, and they didn't flee when they could have.
Yeah, it's like really Kung Fu
sad.
Panda 3.
Well, Kung Fu Panda 3, no one died.
Yeah, the idea of like you've got to whip the villagers into shape to fight off the threat. It's gonna
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like the running gag of Chris Pratt going so far so good. I thought that was really funny. It was also kind of sad because it's one of the last things he said. Yeah, I think the tone was not bad because the humor didn't undermine the stakes and the emotional moments were emotional enough. So I'm quite happy with how it ended up being funny but not overwhelmingly funny.
Yeah. I still can't believe Chris Pratt died.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get over it.
That.
And like this is the final work of James Horner, the composer.
Yes. Oh, so sad.
The story.
I forgot that he died.
Yeah.
And then like the credits came out and it's like in memory of James Horner. I'm like, oh crap, that's right. That's why they have two composers in this.
Yeah, Simon Franklin who finished the work that James Horner started, and it's so sad, the story, because James Horner wanted to surprise Antoine Fuqua with the score, and even before they started filming, he had read the script and he had just written a few pieces that he was going to surprise him with, and then he passed away. So like honestly, I don't think it's an outstanding score, not to speak ill of the dead, but it's very, very reminiscent of what James Horner has done before, which is James Horner's thing. He recycles a lot, and that 4-note danger motif, that da-na-na-na, right, I will kind of miss hearing that. I mean, I always complain that he overuses that, but I kind of miss hearing that. And normally in his scores, it's not as obvious as it is in the Magnificent Seven. In the Magnificent Seven score, you hear it 3 times in a row. You hear da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na, and that's almost the theme. The theme is the danger motif, and I was kind of incredulously sitting there like, what? But it worked. I think it worked. And like the ominous horns things at the beginning, which like hangs over it, that is from Battle Beyond the Stars. So it's like, if I can recognize off the top of my head where all of the things come from, I don't think that's a very good sign. But yeah,
that is amazing. I didn't recognize it at all.
No, I'm a bit of a film score geek. Like, I'm not technically proficient, but I love listening to film music, and I've watched like all of those videos which show the similarities in Hans Zimmer things or the similarities in James Horner things. These are the two are most like infamous for doing that. But at the same time,
are you like? Did you watch the newest? What is it called? I forgot his name. Every frame a painting.
Oh, the
He talked about the Marvel Cinematic Universe's music.
right. Okay.
Have you seen that?
No, I've not seen that.
Oh, you should. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Okay, I'll go look for that. Yeah, like,
Yep.
but I was really happy when they kicked into the classic theme for the ending credits. So I was waiting the whole movie.
I didn't. I honestly didn't know because I didn't watch the original, and I've never heard of the original theme. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay, but the original theme is one of those pieces of music that has been ingrained into popular culture, and it's kind of used to almost like right after the good, the bad, and the ugly theme. That is what you think of when you think of cowboys and western movies. So that's by Elmer Bernstein, and I was really happy to hear that. So I'm glad they're
Whenever I
saying
think
that.
of Western music, I think of like someone whistling and
Right,
then there's
yeah.
this guitar.
That's the good,
this
the bad,
silent
the ugly.
guitar.
Yeah, that's Ennio Morricone.
Okay, so any spoilers that you want to talk about?
Not really, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, like I feel that I wish we had learned a little bit more about the backstory of the Mexican guy of Vasquez. I feel like he was the one who was the most just there.
I forgot. You know the assistant with Emma's character. What happened to him? Is he dead?
I
or
don't
did
know.
you see Jack Thorne's character die? Was he that guy?
I
Or was that the Mexican guy? I
I
can't.
completely forgot that she had someone following her around because I watched this like a couple of weeks ago and I don't remember that there was a guy following Emma around.
There was like Chris Pratt was teaching him how to use a gun or something.
Oh yeah, that guy. Okay, right. Yeah, like the youngish guy.
He's the cute guy, I think. Alright. I didn't write down any news because I thought this episode would go on really long.
Which it has.
But is there any news that came out this week that you want to talk about? Like, I don't think anything interesting happened. I know Monster Trucks is gonna lose like $100 million or something, but that's not really
Jeez,
something to
Monster
talk
Truck.
about.
Like it's not this week, but I know they locked Sarah Paulson in for Ocean's 8, which is cool. And
The Watchmen, Billy Crudup. He's
yeah,
going
Billy
to be
Crudup is
Flash's
playing
dad.
Henry Allen. Yeah.
I'm so happy he has a job, like finally in a big movie.
Yeah, that's
I
good
miss him.
casting.
I think he's fantastic in.
That's good casting.
Yeah, I think he's fantastic as Dr. Manhattan.
And he is. And I also really liked him in Spotlight, where he was like the slimy lawyer guy.
He was in Spotlight. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a lawyer, the one in the expensive office that they went up to confront. And then yeah, and at one point he was being considered for the Hulk.
Oh.
So there's like concept art of him as Bruce Banner.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Before like Li Ang was gonna do it. So I think this is good casting. Like he looks like he could be Ezra Miller's dad, I guess.
You know what I want? I want like all the dads and all the parents to be like Watchmen stars. That'd be awesome.
So they just carry through this. Yeah, that's right. Because of course, yeah,
Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, I did not make that connection. Yeah. So that's why when they cast Lady from The Walking Dead, Lauren Cohen as Martha Wayne, I was a little bit disappointed because I really wanted them to cast Carla Gugino as Martha Wayne. I wanted them to cast Silk Spectre 1, right? The Silk Spectre's mom as Martha Wayne. I thought that would have been perfect.
Just as a callback.
Yes. So now
spoiler alert if you haven't read Watchmen or watched it.
Jackie Earl Haley, right? Rorschach has to be Aquaman's dad now. He has to be Tom Curry.
Even though he's the boring. Wait, he's the one that plays Hawk. What's that guy called? I forgot his name. The Batman-like character.
Rorschach.
Oh wait, no, that's Rorschach.
No, yeah, Night Owl is Patrick Wilson.
Night Owl, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Patrick Wilson, like he was on Ant-Man, then they dropped him. Like a bunch of people left Ant-Man. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh well.
Still turned out good,
including the director.
Yeah, still turned out good.
Yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. Some movies coming out next week, which we won't be doing, but I'm looking forward to one of them. Deepwater Horizon, which is about the oil spill or something.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't care less about this thing. I don't know why. Like, it conjures up such apathy in me when I hear anything about it. And I don't know whether it makes me a terrible person, because obviously a lot of people lost their lives. But I just can't care about Deepwater Horizon. I don't know.
Me too. I think probably like the story it's based off of is more interesting than the movie.
Yeah.
I think that's what's keeping me from being excited about it. And then
Right.
the next one is Miss Parag. I can't pronounce. This
Peregrine's
is the one I'm
Home.
looking forward to.
Yeah, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which looks like a cross between X-Men and Harry Potter.
It looks more like X-Men to me because of all the eccentric things that they can do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It looks fun. I'm not a fan of Tim Burton, but I think this is like the first Tim Burton film I'm looking forward to in forever. I've never really looked forward to any of his films. And he ruined Alice in Wonderland. So
I like Asa Butterfield a lot, and I like Eva Green, and I think that he works pretty well with kids. Like, I think his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is a really interesting movie. I don't think it's very good.
No, it's not.
No, I think it's really interesting. I think there's a lot going on in it if you juxtapose it with the one starring Gene Wilder, rest in peace, or Gene Wilder. That, like, the attitudes in his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it really shows how disturbed a person Tim Burton is. And I kind of like that when weird, strange, tormented people do things that are meant for children, and the results that come out from that, I think that's something which is kind of fascinating in a morbid way.
Did he do the dog Frankenweenie?
Yeah,
Did he do that?
Yeah, Frankenweenie is Tim Burton.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah.
Alright, good job, Tim Burton. You finally got me.
Frankenweenie.
He didn't do Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
He produced it, Henry Selick directed it.
Okay, James and the Giant Peach. I thought that was crap. Like, I know a lot of people love that movie, but it was so bad.
Henry Selick directed James and Giant Peach.
Oh, okay. Whoops.
Yeah, he also did Coraline.
Coraline is awesome. Yeah, so
a lot of people confuse Henry Selick and Tim Burton. Tim Burton did Corpse Bride, which I love. I love Corpse Bride.
Oh. I was just talking about how I didn't understand Corpse Bride because it's such a weird film.
I think it was really emotional, and I really related to the character that Johnny Depp was playing. I think his name is Victor or something. Yeah,
I mean, I love the Victor and Frankenweenie like comparisons.
Right,
That's really cute.
It's pretty much the same character, kind of.
I don't like that. You know, he had an arranged marriage and he eventually fell in love with the girl that he was supposed to marry. Like, that part of plot point I thought was a little bit too simplistic for my taste. I mean, not my taste. Okay, that sounded really pretentious, but I thought that was a little bit too simplistic.
No, that makes sense. And Tim Burton, of course, did Batman 1989 and Batman Returns, which I am very conflicted about. Like, I'm okay with most of Batman 89. I don't like Batman Returns.
I like 89 too. Return, I've never finished watching it.
Okay, yeah.
I've only seen like bits and pieces of the ending, but I've never watched it as a whole. I hate Catwoman in that.
Yeah,
she was in that, right?
Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, because Michelle Pfeiffer really gave her all in the performance, and it was really entertaining and fun to watch. But it's not Selena Kyle. It's not Catwoman. It's just not.
So dumb.
Yeah. And, like, the Penguin had this gross, like, slime coming out of his mouth and all of that. And it felt very much like it was Tim Burton saying, look, Batman 89 did so well, let me do whatever I want. And so they morphed it into something that was a Tim Burton grotesque showpiece. And it wasn't really a Batman movie.
Yep.
Yeah. Random.
Okay. Hopefully the new movie is a lot better than Batman Returns.
Oh, and yeah, it's also been written by Jane Goldman, who is the screenwriter of X-Men First Class.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the script for X-Men First Class good. I liked it. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't, and I think brilliant.
Jane Goldman, if I'm not wrong, like, she also wrote Kingsman.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, she's the writing partner of Matthew Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she was picked for this project by Tim Burton.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I love Eva Green. I think Eva Green is very charismatic and very sexy, and she has been in a Tim Burton thing before.
Was it the one with Chloe Moretz?
Oh yeah, the Shadows.
That was terrible.
The
Shadows?
It was weird. Like, I half liked it.
Oh.
I know, I thought that it was funny enough, but I know it was a huge flop.
Is it In the Shadows or Out of the Shadows? I might think of TMNT.
I'm also thinking of What We Do in the Shadows. So
But that one is a good
no,
film.
yeah, that is a good film. Dark Shadows is what
Oh,
it's
okay.
called. Yeah. See, I can't remember the titles. I don't think that's a very good sign. Oh, 37% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jeez.
I
Yeah,
think goth is like dying in cinemas.
a little bit. This doesn't look super goth.
No, it doesn't. It
Yeah.
looks fun.
Yeah, and I
And,
like Asa Butterfield.
I like Asa Butterfield. I'm kind of glad that he's in this because he seems to be playing the very boring main protagonist role.
Yeah,
You know that trope, right? A lot of animes have them where the main protagonist doesn't know anything, and so people have to explain to them, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know anything," and then it turns out they have the most powerful power or whatever.
You were the chosen one all along.
Yeah, like that's boring.
So yeah, I mean, like,
I'm glad they brought Asa Butterfield because I like him and I'll enjoy his charisma, but hopefully his character is a lot better than it looks like in the trailers.
there's a secret family history you don't know about.
Yeah,
So I mean, to throw back to Kubo, I think Kubo did that really well. Like they made that an interesting character, even though he had all of those qualities.
Yep. Oh no, plenty of movies do that well. It's just that but there are a lot of other movies that do that badly. It's
Like
more like a half
YA stuff. A lot of YA stuff does it pretty badly.
Yep.
Like Chosen Girl plot.
Sorry, I'm like immediately I thought of Twilight and I questioned why. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all we got today.
I suppose
We
that
did
is,
quite well.
yeah.
I'm very happy. I hope you know what? I bet this happiness will just go off immediately because I have
No,
nothing
don't
else to
say
fangle about for like. Well, no, I have like 2 months to Fantastic Beasts, but I'm so scared that Fantastic Beasts will turn out like, what's the one called? The Cursed Child. It's so
Oh
pandering.
yeah, which made you angry.
Yeah,
But-
which made me angry. I'm kind of scared that Digimon will be like that because they did something at the end of Digimon that kind of reminds me of Cursed Child, and I'm so afraid.
I feel
But
like okay,
have
the big thing in Fantastic Beasts' favor is that it's not touching the main characters. It's not saying this is what happens directly before, directly after. It's in the same world.
Remember how I told you that I love the direction that they're going with the Harry Potter world in terms of the movies?
Yeah.
Which is, you don't touch the main characters, but you're still in the same world. So
Yeah,
they're
you're
kind of
fleshing
doing
it
it like
out,
the Star
fleshing it
Wars
out.
thing.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
like Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah, expand the world. Don't expand characters that we already know about.
Yeah, I'm super excited for
Don't
Rogue
do
One.
that!
Rogue One, like everything I see of it makes me more and more excited about it.
Yep. Alright, so...
like I don't know whether I'm more hyped for Rogue One or Doctor Strange right now.
Oh. Well, I'm very hyped. I don't even know what I'm hyped about. I guess Fantastic Beasts. But I feel like Cursed Child just sort of destroyed my hype for it. I guess next year I have something to hype about. New Digimon is coming out. What else is coming out in March? I think something is coming out in March, but I forgot what. Damn it. Okay, never mind.
So like the
I'm
theme
just
of this
thinking-
episode is Jerry mentions Digimon, Jet, awkward silence.
No, I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm
I'm
just so
kidding.
happy.
I'm kidding. No, it's okay. Yeah.
You have no idea how long I've waited for this movie.
I don't. No, you have every right
Oh
to
yes,
fangirl.
yes, I know what's coming out.
What's
Zelda
coming
is
out?
coming out
Sorry?
in March. Zelda is coming out in March.
Okay.
I'm so hyped for that. Yes, that's the one I'm hyped about.
Alright, so I guess that brings us to the end of this episode.
Sorry I went off course.
No, that's
So
okay.
quickly
I've
at
gone
the
off
end.
course like on Batman things so many times. I went off course on a Batman thing in this episode, in fact.
I think we all did because it's all Tim Burton's fault. Hopefully his movie is good. Are
Yeah.
you gonna watch that? Are you gonna watch that before you go overseas?
Yeah, I think so. I think like just before I'm going overseas, I'm catching that, and I've not read the books or anything. So
Okay.
yeah, have you read the books?
Nope.
Okay, yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a requirement to have had read the books before you go and review something. I feel like people expect that of some reviewers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today I say nah.
Thank you, Jerry. All right.
It's better not to know anyway.
I guess so. Yeah. Like.
Alright. We went off course again.
Going on to something else. I was gonna talk about Inferno, but yeah.
I don't know what that is. Okay, never mind. You want to say bye, or do I say bye before we go off course again?
I'll say bye, and then you say bye. Bye.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.